Download the latest issue today, boxingnewsonline.net/apps. Hello and welcome. This is BNTV and we're out and about in a rather dreary and damp London, nursing the post-Olympics hangover. John Denham was there for the highs and the lows. You're feeling a little bit glum now it's all over, aren't you, John?
Yeah, a little bit sad. It's all ended. It was pretty good.
It was pretty good. We all saw it was pretty good. At the start we had high expectations, but we ended up topping the boxing medal table, which probably wasn't expected. 5 medals, 3 golds, silver and a bronze. Let's start with Anthony Joshua, who closed the boxing, or more or less he closed the medal haul for the whole of the Olympic team, really. What was the atmosphere like in there? It was pretty intoxicating just watching it on a screen.
It's unbelievable. They were just so loud, and the atmosphere was actually good right from the very beginning. It was packed from the first session, and every afternoon, every night for 16 days, it was a world title fight in there.
Yeah.
Whenever a Brit came on, the crowd went nuts, and of course, everyone was going crazy for Joshua the final day. So it was a special moment.
Yeah, I mean there was a few whispers that he didn't deserve the decision from a few, but I mean I watched it, and apart from a moment and towards the end of the first round where he got caught in the corner and he took a few shots, to me otherwise he looked like he was in control in that final. Was that how you viewed it?
It was a close one, so I wasn't sure he was going to get the decision.
Yeah.
Because maybe he shouldn't have been so far behind after the second round. But then once he was, it was hard to tell if he'd done enough. Even though he kind of dominated the third round, it was hard to tell if he'd done enough to recover a 3-point deficit. But there's no denying it's a close fight, but a close fight can go either way, so you can't argue with it being settled on countback.
No, not at all.
So fortune favoured him.
Yeah. No, I thought he thoroughly deserved it. There was an obvious contrast though because when Cammarelli walked back to his corner at the final bell, Francesco Damiani, his trainer, and the other guy, don't know his name, they were really, really convinced that Cammarelli had won. But then as they were waiting for the decision, it seemed like Cammarelli had this moment of realisation where he thought, I haven't got this.
Joshua looked strangely confident when he was waiting for the results to come in. I mean, he's just a calm, confident man, I suppose. But he certainly looked more confident than I felt watching it. And then Damiani, the Italian trainer, I guess he's pretty expressive. I guess he was just trying to demonstrate that he thought they had it, but couldn't really have been that convinced he got it.
You spent a bit of time with Joshua afterwards. I saw a picture on one of your many social networking sites of you and Anthony kind of stood there, and what was his mood like afterwards? Obviously, it would have been incredible, but was he as calm and as cool as he could? He's very, very, he takes everything in his stride, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's kind of alarmingly calm. I mean, in Azerbaijan, when he first beat Cammarelli and kind of made his name, the amazing thing about him was that he was still very calm and relaxed about it, saying, he had to kind of keep his emotions down because he had a whole tournament to continue to box. And obviously after the Olympic final, he just seemed very happy, very satisfied. But I suppose the kind of momentousness of, if that's a word, the kind of, I guess, going to absorb the occasion. But I also think he was quite tired.
Crikey, who wouldn't be after that? Okay, now the talk is, what is he going to do? He's saying that he's going to stay amateur. From my point of view, which is, I've got limited knowledge on the whole thing, that seems like the right decision. What he's achieved is fantastic, but he doesn't seem quite as polished as the likes of, say, someone like Lennox Lewis was when he won the gold medal. Do you think he will stay amateur?
I don't know. He seems quite self-possessed, so I hope he makes the right decision, and whatever, as long as he's his own man, that's the main thing. He said himself he needs more experience. He's only, the Olympic final was his 43rd bout.
It's incredible.
But you can see from the way he boxes, he needs to develop, he needs more experience. He's beating people who have hundreds of amateur bouts behind them, but I think to improve as a boxer, staying amateur on the GB setup would be good. But at the moment, he is the hottest property in boxing. He's a super heavyweight. He's got power. He's got an Olympic gold medal around his neck.
Yeah.
So it's hard to imagine. Normally a boxer in that position, you would expect them to turn professional. Yeah. But there are options on the amateur side. Obviously, there's nothing bigger than the Olympics. So in terms of getting sponsorship, that's a huge platform. The GB boxers do get funding, and there are new forms of competition for amateur boxers that through which they can earn money but stay eligible for the next Olympics. So it's going to be interesting. I just don't know, but I also don't think I think all the GB boxers have been quite sensible and focused entirely on the Olympics, and now they need time to decide what to do with the rest of their lives.
Yeah. I mean, let's move on to the other gold medalist, Luke Campbell. That's the other men's gold medalist, Luke Campbell. His game is a lot more polished. Do you think he'll take the step?
Again, I don't know. The thing with Luke Campbell is he's kind of mastered the style for amateur boxing. Personally, I'd love to see him stay in amateur. Become a great Olympian. But he may be able to box in a way that suits professional boxing. Of course, he's gifted enough to do it. Again, I think he said he needs a break and he wants to spend some time with his family. So I just don't know what he wants to do. For all we know, these boxers may always have kind of harboured the ambition to turn professional, become professional world champions. And when you've boxed in an Olympic Games and won gold in front of your home crowd.
Where'd you go from there?
Yeah, what else is going to top that? I just don't know. I wait with interest to see.
It was an emotional time, wasn't it? Whereas we had Joshua cool, calm, collected. Campbell shed a tear or two at the end there. I mean, what was that like for you? Because I know Campbell was the one that you pointed out beforehand, was the one that you thought, I've got the highest hopes for Campbell out of all of them. What was it like for you watching him and seeing him up there?
To watch him win is probably my favourite moment of the games, just because they've all worked so hard for it. But he's been through a lot over the years. He's an exceptional boxer, it was just the way he boxes is kind of icy cool. He's a counter puncher. He's patient. And then to see him kind of shed those tears and have that moment of emotion in contrast to his kind of style of boxing, it was an amazing moment. So I was so glad to see him get it done in the end.
Yeah. Nicola Adams, she became one of the faces of the Olympics. That winning smile, and her boxing skills are extraordinary. But I mean, to me, it seems like perhaps it's an easier decision to stay as an amateur, because professional women's boxing doesn't seem to have the depth of quality that's there for the men's to go into. I mean, if she was to turn professional, is there the competition there, do you think, for her to really take women's boxing to the next level at a professional level?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see the competition being out there for any of them. I'm sure they could turn professional, and maybe people come to watch them box because they've got that profile through the Olympics. But certainly in terms of sporting ambition, level of competition, I think she's better off staying and winning the Europeans more, winning the worlds, doing the Olympics again. I think that's kind of where the levels of sporting achievement lie.
I mean, Dan and I were talking about Katie Taylor last week on last week's BNTV, and we both said that she's probably as gifted as anybody in those Olympics. Take sex out of the equation, and she's a fantastic fighter. But she's kind of making noises now about playing football. Is that right?
I didn't hear her saying that at the press conference, but I think she used to play football for Ireland. So she's won absolutely everything. I can't even, the world's God knows how many times, the Europeans. She's done it all. And she is an absolute superstar. The Irish absolutely loved her. I think when she boxed Natasha Jonas, the noise was extraordinary. The decibel level apparently was 113.7, which is technically deafening. And they were so loud for her throughout the final. Having said that, she had the bout of the tournament probably against GB's Natasha Jonas, but For me, Nicola Adams was the boxer of the tournament. She beat a 5-time world champion, Mary Kom, in the semi-final. Just Mary Kom couldn't touch her. And then dominated, Ren Kankan, who's a 3-time world champion. And again, Nicola Adams absolutely hammered her.
Get involved with all the best boxing banter at our forum, and that's forum.boxingnewsonline.net.